when I had a first meeting with the Vice Chancellor, I was nervous. That was way back when I took up the responsibility of as Director Coaching and Guidance Center. So naturally, I have been into teaching and I was comfortable in my regular classes, but that was a unique situation, so I was nervous. And what I did for that, I prepared hard. I prepared my notes, the points on which I want to discuss with the Vice Chancellor. Prepared two sets of it. Have I shared it, one of the set with the Vice Chancellor, so that he knows that I have come prepared for the meeting. And then I had my relevant files ready for all the points that I have discussed. So initially I was nervous, but afterwards it became just like meeting another person. So we all have these challenges in life, and in fact, it is said about preparation that chance also favors only a prepared man. We get a lot of opportunities in life, but we are able to capitalize on it when we are prepared for it. So now coming to the points that I was discussing, I'll take some time for winding up, maybe 10 odd minutes, and then we'll start our discussion on the third unit. So I was talking about these heuristics. How do they develop? And I said they develop because of our past experiences. And not only past experiences, the kind of context in which we are born. That also decides. Like, for example, somebody is born in a Muslim family or somebody is born in a Christian family. I mean, we have all kind of religious affiliations. Somebody is born in a rural context, somebody is born in an urban context. So they all shape our heuristics. For example, in Aligarh, we experience these kind of stereotypes which we make on the basis of, for example, regional affiliation of the person. For example, we say that Kashmiris are like that, or Biharis are like that. And in UP also, we say that people from Sambhal are like that, people from Ghazipur are like that, people from Azamgarh are like that. So we make stereotypes based on the person's background. Right? There are a lot of stereotypes prevailing for religious groups presently. They are like that, they are like that. So often we make those judgments on the basis of our limited interaction with it. So that is one of the reasons, and I've already talked about the past experiences. We may have bad experiences. For example, I may say that yes, girls are trustworthy, boys are not. So I lend if my one of my girl student comes and wants to borrow a book, I'll give, but I'll not give it to a male student because maybe I've had some bad experiences with male students on this account. So we make our stereotypes based on our past experience. Again, it may be correct, it may not be correct. Then we, again, part of past experiences only, we have some anchors based on our past experiences. Like, for example, when we were building this management complex, we had a PMC, project management company, which was helping us managing the company, managing the project for us. So when we advertise for the architect, we ask them to what is the good fee to pay to an architect, what would be a decent amount, and they said the industry standard is on this account that any amount ranging from 2% to 3% is okay, depending on the qualification of the architect. So they had an anchor based on the past experiences or past prevailing practices on this account. So there are standards which we have for many things, and that becomes an anchor for taking decision. So we do not pull out decisions out of thin air or out of nowhere. We have some anchors already established and we base on that. So now the point to be noted over here is it a good strategy to base your decisions on the basis of heuristics? What is the plus? What is the negative?
Sir, can I answer?
Yes.
Sir, the plus point could be that maybe you can protect yourself from from more negative experiences, but also you are limiting the opportunities for, like, if we go on to your example of not lending books to male students and only lending books to female students, then you are limiting the opportunities that are available for the male students. They're not getting the equal and fair treatment that they should be getting at a university level. So you are, I mean, in a sense, you'll be doing an injustice by being unfair to male students, and that is why it's not right. And that's why we shouldn't base our decisions on past jurisdictions, in my opinion.
And the plus side is, what is the plus side? What is the advantage? And we have these stereotypes prevailing in the society. You all know it. Like, for example, one of the stereotype which I saw during my lifetime was girls are not good for mathematics. They can't study mathematics. And it may be the effect of this stereotype that we have hardly 3 or 4 faculty members in Department of Mathematics presently. But if you visit English department, you will find at least 55%, 60% of the faculty members as lady staff members. So maybe we have built this notion that girls are they excel in humanities and languages, but not in mathematics. So is it good to have such stereotypes, or is there some element of truth also in that? I was associated with a company when I was doing my research. It was an investment company. It was floated by a group of Muslims, and but I was surprised when I noted that the person managing the finances was a Gupta, and they said, only they know how to manage finances. So we have hired the best person on that. In fact, we had this criteria that he should be from that caste. And the other way also, I mean, I'm talking about professional organizations. Often they resort to such. In fact, one of my students shared it with me that he went to Jaipur to do his training, and he was Muslim, and he did a very good job. And his supervisors was very impressed. So when he was coming back, he inquired about his chances of getting finally absorbed in the organization. And then by then, because supervisor had developed some affinity for him, he shared very honestly that you will be beating a dead horse. There is no point in trying over here for you. And he was surprised that they even told that we have specified the gotras. We will select people from various gotras in this order. If we don't get a person from this, so that, and it was a very successful organization. So it is not that I am talking of only in an abstract sense. People have been using these stereotypes, and we make judgments about other social classes based on our limited interaction. And we all know that now, when these stereotypes are weakening, many girl students are excelling in mathematics. But earlier, even families used to treat girls like that. Don't go for this. When my cousin sister did her mechanical engineering, that was in 80, 90, she got admission. There were just three girl students in the batch. But now in mechanical engineering batch, there are at least 50% of the girls. So stereotypes, now let us analyze it very objectively. What are the pluses? I think the pluses are that it simplifies decision making. And naturally, you have your past experiences, you have some intuition based on that past experience, and it simplifies decision. But the negative side is if we rely too heavily on heuristics, then, as Mahek very rightly says, that we may miss out the chance of exploring, trying out other things. We learn from our experiences, and when we learn from our bad experiences. But sometimes when we try out, we have pleasant experiences. So Sharu Rangnekar is a very hilarious writer on management field. He was a consultant. So he writes that when I was growing up in a typical Maharashtrian family, I was told Muslims are bad and you should not be friend. And incidentally, he said it so happened that I had a class in which the boy who was sitting to me was Ahmad. And initially, I was apprehensive of interacting with him. But gradually, I learned that he's a decent boy. So he became my best friend. And this has been my experience of Aligarh also. In fact, I share with you a unique experience which I had when I was doing my MA in history. The class got divided into two groups, the Bihari group and the non-Bihari. And the irony of the situation was that Bihari group was led by a person from Lucknow and non-Bihari group was led by a person from Samastipur. So that's the irony of the situation. Okay? So we have all kind of experiences, and unless we explore, we will not really mature as a person. Isn't it? In fact, somebody puts it very beautifully that we have to learn to postpone our judgments to make good judgments. Isn't it? So heuristics are in some way helpful in decision making, but sometimes they may limit you also. So we have to be conscious of that. That's all from my side. Now, Dr. Zareen, you can take over and
Thank you, sir. So, like sir mentioned, we shall be discussing Unit 3 now. And Unit 3 is organizing. I remember in the introduction, a few students mentioned that they are organized. So, I exactly don't remember the names of those students, but um, are those students willing to say that in what sense they said they are organized? I would like to hear that. When they say that they are quite organized, they are organized people. So, what they really mean by that? If we can start from there. Anybody who would like to mention?
So, ma'am, I did mention in my introduction that I like organizing, I like planning, and that has to do with I like to live my life a certain way that I will get up at 5:30 and then
Hmm.
I will pray and then I'll go for
Hmm.
a jog and then I'll do
Hmm.
this and then I'll do that. It's like a
Hmm.
series of events, and that I have to stick by it
Huh.
because I believe that discipline is very important,
Hmm.
and like for that simple reason. I mean, even if it's an event, for example, you have to plan out everything, who's going to do what before you move on to executing, before you move on to doing the actual things. And for that reason, first, obviously, planning is very important, and which is why we studied this whole unit. And now we'll be moving on to organizing, which is the next step in management. And I think that after planning, it is a very crucial step for everyone to organize, for everyone to come together and uh, dedicate certain roles to everything.
Okay. So you very rightly said that when we organized, we are trying to arrange activities in such a way that they come out systematically, and we are able to we are able to set those activities in a systematic manner so that it may contribute to our common goal. For example, Meg, you also mentioned, and I'm sure many of you must have done that, that you headed some committee, and you were many of you must be in a leadership role, like you mentioned in your graduation. So in that also you can understand how you all were able to arrange the activities, maybe to plan an event in your department, or maybe a farewell party or fresher party, and you must have planned and organized, arranged, organizing, we can use another term, that we are arranging activities or for meeting a common goal, maybe to um, organize a party, a simple party even, and so that, and our goal is that that party is successful, that event is successful, right? So similarly it happens in the organizations as well. In organizations also there are people, organizations are consisting people, right? And those people are specialized in different tasks, and there is a need to coordinate those tasks, to systematically arrange those tasks in such a way that they contribute to the organizational goal, right? And obviously, I will share with you in the next class. We have organization chart where there's a hierarchy, how there's a CEO, then we have managers, and then we have assistant managers. I'm sure you all are aware of that, but just for your information, I shall share that as well. So that is hierarchy. Hierarchy shows the reporting relationship. Who will report to whom? Okay, so that prepares our organizational chart and kind of an organizational structure. About that also we shall discuss in this unit. So first thing which we can discuss today is departments, about departmentalization, how the departments are created, on what basis we create departments. um, so departments, if you see our department, if you see any department in the university even, we can say that they are they are, in an organization there are various activities. In university, for example, in any organization there are various activities, and there is, it is important to arrange those activities on the basis of its similarity, on the basis of the how similar those functions are. For example, there are many students from hospital administration even. So to make the discussion relevant to them as well, so that they can relate it to their field, we can take an example of a hospital. In hospital, see, departments are created on activities. For example, they have ENT. So activities in their in that department would be related to ENT. Then there orthopedic department, there's a nursing, radiology, etc. So on this basis, a department is formed, that what activities are similar activities which are carrying out, which are carrying on. So we create departments. So we can say that departmentalization is a process through which enterprises or organizations activities are grouped together, and they are assigned to managers. So in any department, you see there's a chairman, and then the chairman is also assigning different activities, different responsibilities to teachers, to office staff. Okay, So this way we can understand the departmentalization. And similarly, in organizations, we have under departments, we can there could be divisions, the groupings which are done. Divisions are there, sections, it could be called as sections, it could be called units. So these are the names which could be used. Okay, so now departments are created around functions also. So departments are created around functions, it is created around products. So first let us see how uh, we can create departments around functions. Like I just mentioned, in an organization there could be many functions: accounting, HR, operations, right? So these are the functions which are taking place in an organization. So functional departmentalization means that there's a grouping of activities based on basic functions. Like I just mentioned, human resource, operations, HR, finance. So these could be creating departments around functions. Now, why do you think this is done around functions? What could be the advantages of creating departments around functions? How could it be helpful?
Ma'am, I think when we have separate departments, we have specialized, like specialized people in this particular field, so the tasks become more easy and more specific to perform, and it
Okay.
becomes more productive and efficient
Okay.
if we see it in the form of an organization.
Okay, so you mean to say that when we have departments based on functions, for example, accounting, then all people are working on accounts, for example. So they all are specialized in their activities, and hence they become more efficient. They can show more efficiency. Okay, that's very correct. Eh,
Ma'am, what I
hmm,
feel that according to expertization,
hmm,
departments are divided. Moreover, organization complement planning. So unless you have organized, you cannot your plan will you will not be able to execute the plans.
hmm,
Moreover, as you said, that function revolves around developmentization. So as I said, expertization is plays a significant role.
hmm, hmm,
So a
hmm,
person who is expertise in certain field will
hmm.
be put the managerial part will decide what department we can have in our organization, and accordingly they will divide and put that person in that department. So
Exactly.
this is how departmentalization occurs.
बिल्कुल ठीक. Correct, Prakratika? So, any other advantage one can mention about departmentalization around, on the basis of functions?
Ma'am, we can say that it simplifies working of the of the organization. People are
Hmm.
able to figure out, for example, you give an example of ENT. So we have a different departments
Hmm.
in different hospitals. So
Okay.
if a person want to go to an ENT department, he will search for it, and he do not have to roam here and there. So suppose in a hospital, if there is not departmentalization, then a person will be asking from different people, where is that person, where is that doctor? But
Right,
if we have
Pratika. Yeah.
departmentalization, we can easily go there and figure out what we want.
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल ठीक. Okay, you are correct. Um, and we can also say that when there is departmentalization on the basis of functions, it also leads to increased returns to scale. There's also, kind of a profit, because those all people are working together for a common goal, and they all are experts in their activities, in their functions. So that also helps in increasing profit of organization, and together it carries organization towards a profitable uh, track. And in this, when it is, for example, if you take any department, it is tightly controlled by the head of the department. Okay, for example, there's a department of business administration. So the complete control of the department is with the chairman, right? The chairman controls the department. So in this way, in an organization also, um, there would be the head, and he or she would be controlling the entire function, entire system of that. For example, there be accounting head, right? So he would be controlling the entire department. So that is also one of the advantage, that one person is controlling the department. What could be the disadvantages, you think? Everything has might be having some or the other disadvantage or as well. So what could it be?
Ma'am, it could be the lack of holistic feeling.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Adding to that, sometimes like one department thinks that they are better than the other one. For example, we have always heard this that sales and marketing have more work than the HR department.
Mhm.
So they're always like, in a position that, oh, we are better than that. So yeah, lack of holistic approach.
Okay. So they must be thinking that, okay, maybe we are playing a more important role in the department, rather maybe they're okay, that makes sense.
Ma'am,
Okay.
superiority factor.
Mm-hmm. Same thing that
Ma'am, power struggle, like division of power, who is more
Mhm.
powerful.
Mhm.
And ma'am, sometimes the head of the
While making
department.
decisions, right, Vanshika? While making
Yes,
decisions,
ma'am.
they may,
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Maybe it could happen sometimes that one department is maybe in the favor of a decision or another is maybe not. So maybe that is something which you are trying to say, right, Vanshika? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And since I said that maybe the CEO, maybe the head is taking care of the whole department, so maybe sometimes he also feels overburdened, that maybe he has to look after the entire function, entire responsibility, so he may also feel overburdened, and because of which he may sometimes take time to decide. He may be he may be slow in decision making, and maybe he could be less responsive sometimes, because he's loaded with a lot of work and a lot of responsibility. So that could also be one aspect of the
More
disadvantage.
coordination also needed.
G. G.
Ma'am, biasness
कोऑर्डिनेशन
can
तो
also
हो
take place,
सकता है
I
क्योंकि एक
guess.
ही हेड है, तो कोऑर्डिनेशन तो इसमें पॉसिबल है ना, क्योंकि हम्म, अच्छ- हम्म,
But biasness can also take place
हम्म,
sometimes. For example, the head of the department might be biased towards some
हम्म,
employees in the
हम्म.
department
That could
itself.
happen anyway. That is true. That is true. I
Yes,
agree.
ma'am. Ma'am, but that should not happen. Like, ideally, it should
Also
not
plays
happen.
significant
Hmm,
role.
hmm, hmm,
So,
hmm,
ideally, it should not happen, but it
hmm,
actually happens because we have been seeing this
hmm,
politics is
hmm, hmm,
everywhere,
hmm.
even in the organizations.
Right. And you know what? One more thing which I quickly want to say, that one disadvantage could be that, for example, they are only engrossed in their activity. For example, accounts, HR, they're engrossed in their activities. So maybe they are not taking decisions in a holistic manner, which you say that. And what is that holistic manner? It could be any service, it could be any product, it could be any customer or market. So they may be not thinking in that direction, and maybe they are only into their on their track. You know what I mean? Maybe they are not working in the light of the other aspects. Maybe there's a production of a product, so maybe the finance or accounting department, the HR department, maybe they are not recruiting people according to the need which may be required at the time of the production of the department or something like that. So maybe they are not paying attention to specific items or specific activities which are taking in place in the uh, organization. Sir, I think it is 9:40. So if you like to add any comment, then hello, sir.
I
Yes,
think
sir.
that's all. I've just listed the heuristics which I was discussing.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So you
So
can
sir,
jot it
since
down.
it's 9:40, sir, so I
Yes.
think we should close the session.
Okay.
We shall continue
Thank,
tomorrow from here.
thank
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Thank
ma'am.
you,
Thank
ma'am.
you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am and
Thank you,
sir.
ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, teachers.